Hey everybody. In this video, we're going to look at transformations of exponential functions. So we're starting with the assumption that I have this basic graph, and the basic graph is going to be y equal to b to the x power. So we know that, if b is greater than 1, it looks something like this. And this is if b is greater than 1. And if b is between 0 and 1, it kind of has this general shape like that. Okay. So when we look at transformations, we're not just looking at the basic graph, but we're sort of manipulating it in some way. And the first thing I want to point out is that horizontal actions affect the x value. So you can see that the y value is b to the x. If I manipulate the exponent in any way, that's going to correspond to a horizontal action. So when I look inside here, highlighted a bit too much there. When I look at just this exponent right there, that's going to correspond to a horizontal shift. So this guy is going to shift the graph right by h units. Okay. And just notice that the minus, it's almost like uh, I just want you to notice that the minus corresponds to going right when it's a horizontal action. All the vertical actions happen outside of the basic function. So you'll see that we have this A in front, and what the A is going to do is that's going to correspond to a vertical stretch. It's a vertical stretch if A is greater than 1, and it's going to be a vertical compress if A is between 0 and 1. Okay. All you're doing is you're multiplying the output by this letter A. So if A is bigger than 1, that's going to make it bigger. That stretches it out. If A is between 0 and 1, that's going to make it smaller. Um, if A is negative, that's going to correspond to a vertical reflection. So negative A corresponds to a vertical reflection, meaning it's going to flip it upside down. Okay, so if we had this particular graph right here, but then we multiply by -1, that would basically make the graph flip vertically and would come down like that. All right. So the last letter that you see here is this plus K, and that's going to shift it up by shift up by K units. Okay. So um, just as a reminder, all the horizontal actions affect the X value. All the vertical actions affect the whole thing. And let's take a look at an example. So when you look at an example 2 over here, I guess the first thing I notice is I notice that we have this x minus 1 there. So that's going to make it go right by 1. And then you see that you have this -3. So that -3 is going to make it go down by 3. Okay. So this particular graph doesn't have a vertical stretch or vertical reflection. We're just shifting it to the right by 1 and shifting it down by 3. And recall what our basic graph looked like. Earlier we did the basic graph. The basic graph looked like this this blue one right here. So we have our domain, we have our range, we have our asymptote and y-intercept. And all these four qualities are going to be affected when we do our transformation. So going back to our transformation, you're going to piece these together. We're going to say, we're going to go right three, no, sorry, right one and up three. So the horizontal asymptote, sorry, I meant down three. Okay. So our horizontal asymptote was originally y equal to 0. But when you shift everything down by 3, that's going to subtract 3 from all the y values. So what that does is that moves the asymptote to y equal to -3. So as I explained earlier, if we graph that, we usually use a dashed line. So let's come here, and this is going to be the new asymptote, and that's going to be y equal to -3. Okay. Again, down 3 means you subtract 3 from all the y values. What's the domain going to be? Well, the original domain was from -infinity to +infinity. When you shift everything right by 1, that doesn't really affect the domain. We're still going from -infinity to +infinity. Okay. The range, however, for sure will be affected. Our old range was from 0 to +infinity, but we're shifting everything down by 3. So now we're going to go from um, -3 to +infinity. And again, we're just subtracting 3 from all the y values. So originally that was a 0. 0 minus 3 is -3. Of course, infinity minus 3 is still infinity, so that part doesn't get affected. Okay. Uh, I guess that's it for this discussion. Um, talk to you soon.